Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's good. You're outside in the wilderness. It's where you belong, right?
It's actually, so it's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, good to have you on Hiker's Dream. I'm Landslide. That's my trail name. I'm broadcasting here from Baja, Mexico. We're down here doing environmental projects, and it's a good place to start because there's less restrictions and stuff. But no, I'm doing this, just interviewing hikers and outdoors people just to promote them and promote hiking and the environment. That's my thing.
That is a great thing.
So I understand. Can you kind of give us kind of a background of who you are and your what you're doing and up to start?
Sure. Well, I just returned from doing the AT and
Wow. Was that your first long distance hike, or you done others?
uh to that yes. I had done the 100-mile wilderness last year, just kind of as a let's see if I really enjoy this or not. And obviously that led to something longer, quite
Yeah.
significantly. So anyway, I live in northern Maine with my husband. We have two adult grown children that both are avid hikers and love the outdoors. And was amazing because the three of them fully supported me to do this hike, and basically had said to the family prior to me leaving that if any of them thought that I shouldn't do this, that they speak up and that I wouldn't do it. But they were all very supportive before I left and throughout the hike, which made it, a little easier for me to be away.
And you probably promised to come back too, right?
I did promise to come back.
Because
and
sometimes you get stuck out there. It's so great to be out there. So it's sometimes hard to come back to, regular life. So I'm glad you made it. Wow. How long did it take you?
I started March 10th in Springer, and I ended August 25th at the top of Katahdin.
Okay, 5 months plus.
Yes, I had a little bout of some issues on trail, so I had to get off and do 2 urgent cares for about a week. But other than that, it was right straight ahead.
Was that the Lyme related?
No, that was poison oak.
Oh,
Yeah, I had it all over my arm and my stomach, back, leg, and it was pretty painful. I had never had poison oak. I had had poison ivy before, but I don't know. Poison oak on me presented itself a little different. So I had to do 2 courses of prednisone, and that seemed to clear it all up. Took about 3 weeks, though. I hiked with it for 2 weeks, but that initial stage of it was a little too painful, only because I had it in my midsection and my pack was really rubbing on my back and popping all the blue.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough. We have poison oak here on the West Coast, but not poison ivy. So I've gotten it plenty times too. Not on the trail. I didn't see any I did the Pacific Crest Trail. I didn't see any on the Pacific Crest Trail at all. Didn't get any of that.
Yeah, I don't wish it on anyone, that's for sure.
So you made it through that, and then any other major challenges did you have on the trail?
No, I mean, nothing other than the normal hiker hobble and your everyday aches and pains that you just kind of boogie on through, and you kind of place the pain outside of your body. and try not to let it get a hold of you. And so that's what, other than that, no, I had a few slips, a few falls. I did have a pretty significant fall going through the notch, but thankfully I didn't get too hurt, So yeah, it really was amazing. And I have to say, I had a lot of people, my family and relatives and friends from home, all praying faithfully for me to be able to do this, because I had basically told people it was a one-shot deal for me. If I was to get sick or injured, because of the nature of my businesses back home, it was either this year or never. So thankfully, I had the grace of this year.
Great.
Yeah.
What made you do it initially? You did the 100-mile, but what made you want to do the longer one here?
I think that goes way back to because you already know I was I had been bitten by a tick in my past and was basically in a wheelchair, and they wanted to put a portacath in, which they did. I was in a chronic phase, and so I was in a wheelchair, and they wanted to put a pacemaker in, and so I was pretty much bedridden. And I was on antibiotics, toxic levels for half a year. And yeah, being sick that long really made me, though I had always enjoyed the outdoors, it really made me understand what a gift we all have when we can get up in the morning and walk or hike, go to work. And so I guess, at that point in my life, I was just like, I'm very faithful. I do believe in our Savior. And so I did a lot of praying, and I wasn't really saying anything or asking for anything other than for me to just be able to get my health back so I could be active again. And once I became healthy, I just have been active ever since, outside a lot. And I guess it just kind of kept escalating, like a day hike, and then it escalated, maybe a weekend hike, and then a week-long hike. And I also teach a lot of outdoor education classes, and I just that learned what types of things happen to people automatically when they're outside. So
is that the outdoor education business, is that started after you went through your experience with the Lyme?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. My degree's in traditional education, and I did that for a while, but I could not stand being inside the four walls, and resigned from that. And I did teach at our local university some outdoor pursuit classes, and through feedback from my college students, I also was amazed at how they felt different after just a 3-hour class of being with me outside. And so, I mean, it's just like I kept getting little snippets of people really being transformed by just simply being outside. And so I can't exactly remember the day, but I kind of had thought about hiking long distance. And then I'm also a hunter. And so November of last year, I was hunting, sitting on a bucket, freezing, waiting for my buck to come through. And I just asked God, I said, do you think I should do this hike? This crazy thought about doing the AT. And it's not like I had this voice, but it was just a feeling like, you know what? Yeah, you should do this hike, and you should do it alone, and I'll take care of you. So that's all I can say. That was the whole.
You sound like a person that listens to your nudges, listens to your intuition and what life shows you, because life will show you what to do if you just pay attention. So that's cool how
So,
you progressed and how you took the little steps, the little baby steps to figure it out, what works for you. I'm just
yeah.
curious what the students in the 3 hour class, what did they share with you that they became more aware of, or how it changed them?
Uh, they basically said that the other classes, when they would leave their traditional classes, they felt stressed and anxious.
Yeah,
And my class, they said they didn't understand why, but they just felt like they could think clearer.
yeah.
They fear, and so for me, I'm also I also am certified in Shinrin Yoku, so I understand science behind what our trees are, what the phytoncides that are being released and how they really take care of us. So, I think God put this stuff out here. It's free. All we have to do is walk out our doors, and it's right there.
What's this system that you mentioned? I'm not familiar with it.
It's called Shinrin Yoku, and basically, the traditional U.S. name would be forest bathing. It originated in Japan, and so 3-4 years ago, I went to Maryland to become certified in that. And at first I thought, this really isn't for me, but it does use nature, and nature is it's a wonderful thing. It can do amazing things. Our stress levels, our cortisone levels, it's amazing.
Can you kind of talk about the basics of it?
Sure.
Yeah, sounds interesting. I mean, when I was 5 months on the PCT, that's bathing and immersion in the wilderness, but this must have some aspects or techniques or something built in to get the most
Yeah.
out of the experience.
So a traditional session of Shinrin Yoku is basically coming together either individually or with a group. And as the instructor, I'll give a series of invitations. And so after the invitation is given, everyone disperses. Obviously, this is all outside. And as you can see, my land is perfectly set up for it here. I have 120 acres and I have nature trails all over. So,
Wow. Yeah.
I haven't officially got that part of my business up and running because of my hike. It's like I have this process, the steps that I'm doing. So anyway, the invitations are given. The people take about 20 minutes. They go out and do that invitation. And an example of an invitation might be, perhaps we can go for a short walk individually and just listen and see what you can hear. Maybe some things are far away, and just try to listen. And so some people choose to walk for 20 minutes. Some people choose to run. Some people choose to plunk themselves down, and it's totally up to them. And so then we come back and there's a short sharing session. People can choose to share or not. And then from there, I'll give another invitation. And usually the whole process takes about between 2 and 3 hours. So these people are literally out in nature, or the wilderness, I should say. And research has found that even with that little bit, 3 hours, that the cortisone levels decrease, the stress hormone. And they've done, studies on nurses, like they would take them out once a month, and how long that those levels stay decreased is about 28 days. So it's really, and I saw it over and over and over on the Appalachian Trail. Like, people would tell me how stressed they were in the beginning, and they didn't know what happened to their stress, or their blood pressure medicine. Now, it was really cool to see that long term.
What did you use on the trail yourself? What kind of techniques, I guess? I don't want to use that word, but what did you use in terms of forest bathing on the trail when you hiked?
I really used a lot of prayer. I prayed once my first step happened every morning. I would start just praying. It was basically for protection from Jesus, and protection over the different people that were out there. I prayed for people that might need. I prayed that God would put people in my path that He would want me to talk to that day. And I prayed for trail angels. Well, as a past hiker, that there are days where you're hungry and you want food.
Yeah.
So prayer was my number one go-to, even though even with all of the science that I knew was out there for all of the trees that I was walking through. And so it's kind of a really cool combination.
Did you use like a mantra prayers, or did you just kind of, each day, did you make something up, or was it the same thing each day? I mean, did you ever get bored of it? Bored, or, that's a long time to be out there.
Yeah, no, basically, prayer is a huge part of my life. And so every morning, as soon as I got on trail, it kind of was like, Lord, I just pray that you are with me today, and kind of like walk beside me, because as I said in November, He made it very clear that He was going to walk with me. And I know that might sound super weird to some people, but it is what it is. It's my story. So I guess I get to say it. And so I would pray that He would kind of hover over me and keep me out of harm's way, and help me with being careful with my footing. And if there was anybody that needed my help in the trail, that He would show me what to do that day. And then from there, it was pretty much, I pray for my family back home, and just thank Him for all of the people that at back home that were faithfully praying for my safety. And it was never, once I got done my initial kind of the same prayer about me, it was just random. I mean, there were some days where I was just kind of, I don't know, almost praying like 4 or 5 hours a day. It just kept
walking prayer.
Yeah.
I'm curious if your dreams changed once you got out there from when you were home. Did you dream a lot? Did you dream less? What did you dream about? Because I know, just for my experience, I didn't dream. I was so exhausted the first 3 weeks. I didn't dream anything. But then when I had my first dream, it was like a relief, because I would go to bed and then wake up, and it was like, here I am again. I have no rest or recovery time. But when I had a dream, it was like a recovery. I could kind of go in the dream and recover from the day's hike. And it was really a neat thing to have my dreams come back for me.
Yeah. I agree. I was so exhausted at night that I really, if I did dream, I really had no recollection of it. I did only have, it's kind of funny. I have kind of a habit of, my husband will say, I will dream and I'll wake up and I'm laughing because something really cracks me up. And so there was one dream on the trail where I don't know, it was with my daughter. And for whatever reason, I had asked her what she was eating, and she said bologna. And I said, and for whatever reason, in my tent, I woke up laughing that she was eating bologna. And that was the only dream. It was only one dream that I remember on the whole trail of that. But I woke up, like I said, I woke up refreshed because I'm like, wow, that was really fun to laugh. I was laughing in my dream. So, and that was kind of familiar because that's what I had done at home.
Okay, that worked. Okay, so how about awareness? What did you become more aware of once you came back August 25th? What are you more aware of now? See, awareness is very good. Awareness is like key to a lot of things. So it's
Yeah.
good to you know, you can think things or believe things or consider things, but awareness just is. So just wonder what you're aware of. Or did you have a comparison before you started the hike and after you came back, and what you're aware of more? Or
Yeah. Uh, so before my hike, just because I think of the nature of my illness and with how long I had been sick, I thought I lived a very simple life. You know, I'm employed, I'm self much set my own schedule. And I really truly thought that I lived a pretty stress-free life compared to, you know, some other people that I know. That was pre-trail. I post-trail, I'm back. I got back on a Thursday. I took a Friday off, and Monday morning I was right back at my normal work routine. I see it differently now. I see a lot of the things that I've done as really not that important. Uh, Material things have never been a part of my life, but this trail really, really upped the ante for relationships with people. It's the only thing that matters. And so, you know, if something on my list doesn't get done today, but I can go visit with someone and not be in a rush because of my list, that's what's important.
cool.
Yeah.
So
So the people on that trip, everybody was our daily goals. You know, maybe I wanted to do 25 miles. But even with those goals, people were always willing to stop by a water source or help you with anything you needed or just simply talk about food.
yeah, especially.
Yeah.
So can you share one or two of the characters you met that made an impression on you, and do you still have friendships with them?
Oh, yeah. I still have friendships with them. So there was this one lady named, should I use a name or no name?
It's your choice.
Uh,
I'm going to pass this around to the Facebook group, so if you don't mind, so whatever, you know.
yeah, it's her trail name anyway. So I met this lady early on. Her name was Dandelion, and she did a face plant and broke a couple of her ribs, and she went to urgent care, found out that she had broken her ribs, and continued trekking. She thought that was so cool to not give in to that pain. And so it was kind of my, I thought of her a lot. Like when I would wake up in the morning and could hardly move, I'd think, but I don't have broken ribs. I'm not hiking with broken ribs. So that was neat.
Breathing, that affects the breathing. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. And I was just really impressed with another lady that she was older, well into her 60s, and she really taught me quite a bit of perseverance. She had some pretty significant falls in the beginning, and she just kept going, and actually should be summiting the 20th of this month.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then
yeah,
there's just another guy named Double Check, and Double Check, it was always such a pleasure to see him. He always had kind of an upbeat personality, and he really made you feel special every time you saw him. So that was neat. I mean, and then there's this other guy. I mean, I could go on and on. Another guy, his name was Buck, and I met him early on. He had to get taken off the trail because he fell, and but he still contacts me and was just so supportive every time I saw him. So, I mean, and you know how it is. There are days where you see these people, your Tramley members, but then you might go a month and wonder, where are they? And then all of a sudden they pop up around a tree, and it's like, oh my gosh, it just makes it super exciting.
Did you generally hike solo, or did you have a Tramley generally?
No, I met Tramley right off, and it was just so neat. And I think, like everybody out there, you start out solo, but then something happens, you just team up or get a Tramley group going, and you just become instantly connected.
Yeah, it's amazing. The community, hiker community, is amazing. Lifelong friendships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you share a survival, situation. It's not like going to work, but this is down and dirty survival. I mean, you share something of value really with each other, and you get to know a person really well in a way,
Yeah, all the traditional maths, I guess, is what I.
Right. It doesn't matter what he does, what kind of job he has, if he's running from the law or just got divorced or whatever. You see, you just help each other. You're supporting each other generally.
Equal. Everybody's just, like you said, the same page. We're out there to help each other and to survive. That's every night you survive is a good night. I mean, if you don't get clawed, and every morning that you don't, fall and smack your head on a rock, that's a good day too.
It's a great equalizer, basically. What we're going through out there.
Yeah.
Did you come? You had the people you met. Did you meet any elves, gnomes, angels, tree spirits, water spirits? I mean, anything like that you had kind of a relationship with out there, wandering around?
Now I can tell you, because for me, it's anything that happened to me out there was because of my relationship with Jesus. But there was one day where I'm a main recreational guide, and so one of the things that I've been trained is you never go anywhere in the woods without your pack. Well, for this day, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it was exhaustion or what, but I left my pack, and I was trying to get to a road. I left my pack in my tent, and I thought it was a very short walk, but it ended up being a little over a mile to get to the road. And I have had a few bouts with, if I don't have enough sugar or food, hypoglycemia. So all of a sudden I got almost to the road where I could see it, and I was like, whoa, I'm starting to feel super weak. And then I reached in my pockets and I'm like, oh my gosh, no pack, no food. And so I just thought, okay, God, you gotta be here because I feel really gross. I stepped out onto the road and I actually took a picture of it. But there were 2 pieces of candy, the butterscotch hard candy, and one was a pepper laying in the road. And I was just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Because this is what. So there were anything that happened to me out there, I give him all the praise and all the glory, because there were times where the water sources were dried up because we were in a drought, and we'd come to a place and it would be just a little tiny trickle. And I was just like, wow, those things to me were amazing. It was just that divine timing.
Your 2 pieces of candy story reminds me of something that happened to me, and I swear to God, this happened. I swear this happened. Okay, I was doing Tai Chi. I had a Tai Chi class, and the teacher wanted us to get this ball so we could do this movement around the ball.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this movement?
Anyway,
no. You start with a beach ball, something light, and then you move up to a heavier ball, and then maybe even to a bowling ball. And
okay.
I was walking, I don't remember where, I guess it was near home. I was walking along the street, and a bowling ball started rolling down the gutter. I swear to God, just out of nowhere, a bowling ball. And there was my little thing, my ball that I could use for my Tai Chi. It just came out of nowhere. It's just one of the most amazing things ever. It's kind of weird, but yeah. God has a sense of humor. That's what I found. He's not just straight, serious. He has a sense of humor.
Oh, 100%. That is a great.
So these things happen, and when they do, we're just grateful and appreciative, and I'm glad you made it back. Just I kind of keep it to 30 minutes, but just maybe favorite trail food, favorite town food, maybe that. What about that?
Okay.
That's fun stuff, because you're always thinking about what am I going to get in town, right? Next.
About food, always talking about food. And so my go-to on the trail was Slim Jims.
Okay.
I a lot, morning, noon, and night, and as snacks. And I don't know, that was a great thing for me. Dry tuna fish was my lunch, and supper time. I think my favorite was probably potato flakes with a package of Velveeta soft cheese, and I'd squirt that in there and I'd just shovel it in.
Yeah.
When I went to town, I always wanted a root beer float, and I certainly did crave steak and pizza. I couldn't get enough of that. Every time I went into town, it was like for the first couple of, or the day, or even 2 days before I knew I would reach a town, I'd just be like, oh, I cannot wait to get that steak. Yeah.
Good, solid food.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a guy, Coppertone. He was a trail angel. He would run naked up the mountains when he stopped, and then he'd come back. That's why I call him Coppertone, because first time I saw him, he had tennis shoes, and then he was buck naked. But then he'd come back, get dressed, and offer root beer floats to people. That was his thing, root beer floats. So yeah, it was cool.
Great.
Well, Tracy, yeah, if you could send me anything like a videos or photos you want to add to this, we add it to the end of the edit and contact information about what you do in your business. It'd be great. We can share it around, promote what you're doing. It sounds really great. I like the forest bathing part.
I will see. I'll certainly. How soon would you like those?
Oh, just it's going to take a couple of days for my editor to finish this. So take your time. Take your time. Yeah.
Should I send them to this same address?
Yeah, my email is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to add my editor's email too, so you can CC him too. So it'll go directly to him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, if you ever come to Maine,
Thank you. I will look you up. Yes. I will do some forest bathing with you. Wonderful.
Backdirt.com. That's my business name.
Okay. Add that. We'll add that to this show.
Okay. All right. And I'll when I send you the photos. Should I send a photo of me in the wheelchair, or is that just?
Yeah, before and after.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the challenge that you face and you overcome, that's what it's all about. It's like everybody's got a challenge. You have a major one.
And it was very stressful. That was one of my fears out there. It bit by a tick. I hardly sat down, and I didn't sit in grass or anything like that. And if I did sit at lunchtime, I'd always sit on a rock with my feet up, like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. It was a pleasure, Tracy. Thank you for being on.
All right. Great to talk to you, and sorry it took so long.
It's fine. See you. Bye.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be.